Good morning, national officers, past national commanders, members of the NEC, and all of our guests. George Washington once said, "When we assumed the soldier, we did not lay aside the citizen." Now, we all know that our military is not to engage in politics, but to me, it is unconscionable that public officials are not making it as easy as possible for our military members to vote. Voting is not a political act. It is an act of citizenship. According to the Military Voter Protection Project, the number of absentee ballot requests for the military service members is down by 70% since 2008. What's more, oftentimes when the service members cast their ballots, their votes are not counted. This is absolutely unacceptable. The American Legion passed a strong resolution at our convention this year, but we also need to let all of our home states know that we are watching this process very carefully. Nobody wants to see fraudulent ballots cast, but with today's technology, there's no reason why the Department of Defense cannot step up its efforts to send and receive electronic ballots. And no ballot should ever be discarded because of bureaucratic technicality. It is up to all of us to remind the Legion family members and our home departments how important it is for all of us to engage in this process. We are all about service, and voting is one of the most important services that we can render as citizens. During my legislative testimony a couple of weeks ago, I had laid out 3 top priorities for our lawmakers to address: the VA backlog, sequestration, and credentialing. Aren't you getting weary of the VA backlog? If you owned a grocery store that was very busy, wouldn't you hire more than one cashier? The line in VA seems to be getting longer and longer, while the people who are waiting have to struggle, not just with their disabilities, but with the economic uncertainty. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to break the back of the backlog. Our message is simple. When you have almost 1 million veterans waiting for their claims to be resolved, you better hire more staff. And here's another idea. Make sure that the additional staff that you hire are mostly veterans. The American Legion is fighting for a major overhaul of licensure and certification policies as they relate to military job skills on both the national and state levels. The Vow to Hire Heroes Act and the Veteran Skills to Jobs Act of 2012 are important steps that we strongly supported and helped shape, but they are only good for the start of a long march to improve career opportunities for those who have served in uniform. We will continue to work with the White House, the Governors Association, the National Conference of State Legislators, and other agencies to ensure that improvements are made and existing laws enforced. I just wrote an editorial about sequestration. It is as much of a job killer as it is a military readiness killer. A George Mason University study estimates that the trickle-down effect of sequestration would cause a loss of 2.1 million jobs nationwide and add another 1.5 percentage points to the currently unemployment rate. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta called sequestration a crazy doomsday scenario. I was at a meeting with the Secretary on October the 1st, in which he said we must be able to deal with every threat out there. I couldn't agree more. And sequestration is a real domestic threat that makes our troops and our nation more vulnerable. It must not happen. We also need to get the congressional candidates on record about how they would vote for the Flag Protection Amendment. We have engaged in this fight for many years now, but the principles embodied of Old Glory don't waver. Neither should we. Now, on a positive note, let me tell you what's working well. Our American Legion programs. I'm amazed about the outpouring of generosity I am seeing on my travels. In just 4 days, my home department, Indiana, raised $32,000 for Operation Comfort Warriors. I set a goal to raise $500,000 for it during my year, and from what I am seeing at various departments, I think we will meet that goal. I recognize that there are many organizations out there that are helping wounded warriors, and I salute them for their efforts. But we really need to get behind our own program. No, we don't spend the millions of dollars advertising that some groups do, but we do have a network of 2.4 million volunteers spread throughout the country. And you can be certain that when you donate your dollar, every dollar to Operation Comfort Warriors, every cent goes to helping the wounded, injured, or ill veterans, not to pay salaries and fund some fancy public forum and relations. I am looking forward to a great legacy run this year, for which we will not only raise money for outstanding cases, but also raise the awareness of the American Legion. We all want to be at an all-time high in membership during our centennial, which is less than 7 years away. We're not going to make it if we don't start getting ready now. That means engaging new members so they don't exit out the door during renewal time. It means reconnecting with your local military bases, reserve units, and National Guard. It means welcome home celebrations and Blue Star salutes. It means running a strong public relations program within your departments so the communities can be aware of all the great things your posts are doing every day, and nobody seems to know about it. And I need to know about the great things that you do so I can spread the word. I can't understand the importance of the consolidated post reports. Please do what you can to ensure maximum participation. This information is extremely important when we visit Washington and remind members of Congress just what the American Legion is doing in their home districts. Michael Peterson has a song. It is not who we are, it is what we do. Well, I believe the rubber meets the road at the local post. We have to do everything we can at the national level to support their efforts and help them succeed. I have no doubt that we continue to do that. Every day is Veterans Day. Let's have a great meeting.